Hello and welcome to Arsenal Domination, where I want to talk about Jurien Timber's recent comments about his health and the pain he went through towards the end of the season to try and play in the Paris Saint-Germain game. And I don't think it's a good look for Arsenal or Arteta, to be perfectly honest with you. But let's just sort of explore the full quote. I'm just going to read this here, so I'm just going to sort of look away a little bit. But Jurien Timber said in a recent interview, I think with a podcast in the Netherlands, that I only trained one day before the match, which was the first leg against Paris Saint-Germain. At half time, I thought I have no idea how to finish this because I couldn't even run. But in the second half, I got adrenaline again, and in the 80th minute, it was time to go out. I didn't train all week and was stressing for the second leg. It hurt so much. The manager thinks Yor has a scan. It can't get worse. Make sure you're ready. But he doesn't see how much pain I'm in. Now, the initial quotes that came out stopped there, and that is a really, really bad look for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. But I'm just going to sort of take it on now for a little bit before I discuss it. More quotes then were published afterwards, and it does add a little bit of context and change it slightly, but not totally, from my opinion. So this is what he then said afterwards. He then talks about how much it hurt to. He then talks about how much it hurts to run and the pain he was in and how upset he was. At which point I'll go back to quoting. Arteta says, "You'll take your time, but walking was hard. With my ankle, I knew I was having surgery at the end of the season, but I just wanted to play these games." And that's the extra context that's added. And I think what this does is do two things. I think the first is this sort of shows Timber's desire to get out there, help his teammates, and play in these big games. It's what all players want to do. It's a Champions League semi-final against Paris Saint-Germain, chance to play in the final. You want to be playing that, particularly when you've had the season that Jurien Timber has had. And it also shows Arsenal and Arteta's desire to win is still there because they want their best players available. It might have been slightly different if Ben White was fully fit, but he wasn't. And that would have probably meant a Thomas Partey at right back, which wasn't an option, of course, for the first leg, by the way, because he was suspended. But I think it also does show, and I think this is where it is a bad look for Arteta, and there's no getting away from it, is that he's either not noticed Jurien Timber is in a lot of pain, or he doesn't appear to care. Now, his words show that he's caring, but it's also he's desperate to put him out there, and he's sort of saying you need to do everything you can, which is putting extra pressure on a player who's probably already putting pressure on themselves to be out there, wanting to be out there. And I think this comes back to the player welfare point. You know, we look at Rodri's comments from a year ago about the amount of football that is being played and the pressures being put on by coaches, not just Mikel Arteta, but by various coaches to get players to play. And something's got to give. Either players are going to have to accept rotating more, or we're going to have to see less games because these injuries are going to happen. But I think either way, the initial look isn't as bad for Mikel Arteta as it appeared from their initial comments. But this is still a worry, and this is something I think I would be concerned about if I was Mikel Arteta and just need to reflect on the behaviour a little bit there. I'll speak to you soon.